Okay, the recording has begun. Welcome everyone to session 14. It's dark. There's a faint blue light from the little force field generators that have been keeping all the boxes in position. But there's a pile of boxes, 3 boxes in front of you, and the topmost one, from the crack comes a hiss and a roar. Does anyone want to give a quick retelling for a character point as to exactly how you got into this situation?
If I can just jump in here, I'm pretty sure Charles specifically disobeyed the plan and sent 10 zombies with explosives down to deal with some dudes instead of 3 at a time. And it caused a big boom and cracked open one of these cells of this magical menagerie. So good luck, because I'm not there.
I'm also not there, so
I hope I'm not there.
good luck, guys.
You are there.
Damn it.
But no one knows that you're there, so you can just moonwalk right on out.
So, Jackie, you're at the other end of the doorway that would have ended into this. Now, the doorway that was being used has stopped working. So there's some commotion going on. You've also been causing a lot of other commotions up there, too. The place has been on fire. You've knocked out and stashed a bunch of bodies about the place.
I'm like Solid Snake.
The leadership up there is desperately trying to see if they can get through another one of the doors. They're loading another door into the slot, and they're going to go through and see if from inside the room they can cause enough damage to open up another way into the vault. The last way they got in, from what you guys have been able to ascertain, was that somebody went down there and tampered with the little force fields and found a way to get into one of the wine vaults. They came up through a wine barrel. But yeah, that access has been denied, so they want to get that back up and running as quickly as possible. You suspect, however, they're not going to be able to do it without somebody down there in the vaults helping out by disabling one of the magical little force field generators. And of course, all of your agents down there, beknownst only to you, Jackie, are curse-bloated.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Dasco, you're on a boat. It's actually quite pleasant.
Just gonna play some liar's dice and
Yeah.
Kick back and chill.
Rocking at the docks, the stars and the sea spread out in one direction, the lights of a never quite sleeping city in the other. Quite an idyllic life. But Avatala, Remy, and Barnabas, and Charles, you guys are in a very different situation.
Well, of course. That we are. Does anybody have a plan? Because otherwise I'm just going to roll with mine.
My plan is to wait and see.
All right. With another great roar and then a sort of serpentine hiss, a creature slithers its way out of the upper container, coiling its way around the crash containers down to the bottom floor. It appears to be a great serpent, like a giant snake, but there's some significant differences. One of them is that this snake appears to have no skin. It is made entirely of muscle and tendon wrapped around bone, and that muscle and tendon is glowing with a phosphorescent blue. It's not quite the same blue as the shield generators, but it's close enough that it might cause some difficulty if it decides to stealth. These are visibly connecting the bones of a snake skeleton, but Charles, you do not detect any necrotic energy coming from the bones. So they don't seem to really be proper bones for you.
These bones are below my standards.
The snake is approximately 4 feet tall, and you would estimate it's a couple 100 feet long.
Oh God.
Snake is probably not the right term to use there at that point.
Yeah, it's snake-shaped.
Serpent.
But it is a serpent, and it is this glowing blue goop wrapped in the shapes of muscles and tendons around these bone-like structures in the rough shape of a snake. Reaching the bottom, it sees you guys, rears up its head for a moment, and then, let's see. Yeah, and then it decides that it wants to try to hide. So it's going to slither among the boxes and blue lights rapidly, like at a surprising speed for its size. It tries to find a hiding spot. It's going to roll its stealth check. You guys can see if you can keep track of it or if you lose track of it amongst the stuff.
Alright, so... do we roll anything, or is it just a snake still?
Well, the snake has rolled 2 successes, so if any of you want to roll perception checks, if you get more than 2 successes, you can see where it's hidden itself.
Just straight perception, or
If you have a relevant skill to add to your perception, that could be useful.
stealth, investigation?
Stealth is a good one. I think there's actually a special thief talent for, or special stealth talent for using your stealth knowledge to, what is that called? It's like, where would I hide?
Smuggle, I think.
Where would I hide if I was a 200-foot long serpent?
I think that might be a stealth investigation.
only 1 success.
Can other people contribute to the perception roll?
Oh, it's called If I Wanted to Hide Something. Yeah, you can spend 1 investigation to gain a 1 threshold bonus to any attempts to find things. Or stealth to gain the same bonus to hide things. Requires investigation and stealth. Yeah.
So, I'll go for a perception plus investigation, I guess.
All right. You are able to continue to track it. It is trying to flank you guys. It's setting up to come up from behind you.
All right. Well, I have one spell, so one bit of magic left. So I'm going to try and teleport the four of us back to surface.
Okay.
Take him with us and then leave him to be snake food.
Leave who to be snake food?
Like the shop dude.
Our
Oh,
business
right.
partner?
Yeah.
You can leave Charles and take the business partner. He's gonna make us money.
I could just take myself.
You would have a much better chance of pulling off just taking yourself.
That is true.
Okay, so the classic teleport without error, which is the one where you can just take any number of people and take them anywhere, and it's safe. There's no chance of accidentally arriving halfway into a rock or something. That is a 7th circle spell.
Actually, hang on. Flashback to a time back when I was actually still a student in magic before I was kicked out.
Oh, we're going way back.
We're
Okay,
going way back.
Who are you bribing?
I am bribing my instructor, who is presumably the best in the land, I guess, at least Celebre, to let me have a couple of emergency teleportation scrolls in case I was ever kidnapped, because I was a very rich person with a lot of money.
This is pretty serious stretching of the flashback abilities.
It is.
Considering there's no reason you would have ever thought that this specific instance would come up in your
No,
grand planning.
Me being kidnapped would have been.
All right, if you're paying the tax, then I'll allow you to have a teleport spell for yourself. Now, obviously, you would not teleport your kidnappers with you. So
True.
Yeah. All right. So you have a single use teleport back to your mansion.
This is a backup plan. But I'm going to give it a go.
She pulls it out of her pocket. It's all wrinkled and sweaty. She's like, finally, the time has come.
Yes. So
Just blowing the dust off
I'm
of this
first
scroll.
going to try again.
I think your audio cut out.
Oh, yep, internet cut. Sorry. I'm still going to try and get my friends out at first.
Okay. So let's figure out what that would be. So on the parameters of the spell that you're trying to improvise here. First parameter is, what is the range of the spell? So how far are you trying to get them?
Just try to get them up to the surface. I don't know how deep we are, but wherever we were outside, I know the area. I know what it would look like.
You're several hundred feet underground. Under street. You're several hundred feet under street. Technically, there is a large opening that's less than 100 feet away. But it's through solid rock, and then that opening is a giant pit that goes down you don't know how far.
Right.
You could try and aim for the shop, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I said, like outside the shop.
Okay.
I don't want to be at the shop necessarily.
So that's the range. What's the area of effect that you want to try and bring with you?
Just the 4 people I could literally reach and touch, who happen to also be my friends.
Okay, small area. Do you have any special conditions about the spell, such as guaranteeing that everyone arrives safely?
Guarantee that myself arrive safely.
I see. Okay.
The rest we'll figure out in the end. And if I'm allowed to list an order of priority here, Remy would be second priority, Barbas would be third priority, yeah. Charles, if he makes it, he makes it.
Okay, so I feel like this is a fifth circle. I would like some input from our veteran here. Does this feel fifth circle to you?
I mean, fifth circle's pretty serious, right?
It is. This is teleporting a small group of people. It's not teleporting them very far. That's the one thing that's kind of in its advantage. They're really only going a few hundred feet, which in terms of teleport spells is a pretty short distance. It is a group of them, and they want to arrive safely if possible.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so if it is if I would say like fifth circle is about where teleport is. So sixth is kind of actual teleport, but with restrictions, it can be lower. If the teleports if the spell's restricted to teleporting like only to a specific place, then it can be significantly lower, like even like third circle, to be honest. So
Well,
like if it's like a safe room type teleport, right? So things like
they did not have time to prepare a safe home unless unless you use that that little item that you picked up from your flashback.
But
Yeah.
but I mean like yeah, fifth is reasonable, I guess, for just like a generic teleport in the local area, I guess.
Okay,
With like a
I feel
limited
good
number
about
of
that.
people.
All right. So, question is, can I also use my I know what I'm doing to allow me to add performance to this roll? Because I definitely know what I'm doing. I've done magic before. I've made up magic before. I've never made up this magic before, but I'm sure it can't be that hard.
Wow, that's a kind of funny one to use for magic. I love the description of it. You're you're able to leverage your performance and social stature to appear competent even when you have no idea what you're doing. You may pay one performance and narrate how you totally know what you're doing to use your performance on the test instead of a more appropriate skill. Yeah, tax your performance and go ahead and roll performance instead of. Are we rolling that instead of scholarship, or are we rolling that instead of your magical aptitude?
It's actually going to be instead of my magic because I'm very low on it. I have a lot of tax magic right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you still need to tax your magic to make the spell happen.
I do have to tax it, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean if you have advantage, you don't have to pick, right? So you can roll your magic plus. It can be additive as long as you have advantage on this particular whatever it is that you're doing, this spell cast. So you could roll like your performance and your magic, which is maybe tax super heavy, but it's extra dice, right?
The question is, do I?
That's an excellent question. So it either comes from a mastery or from your traits if you have advantage.
Okay. I don't think I have. I don't think I have advantage then.
I know though that one of your talents gives you a
Yeah.
reduced difficulty when doing improvised spells, right?
I don't think it's reduced if it.
You have traits reckless and flamboyant.
That is. This is definitely reckless. Okay, so we're going We're gonna. This is definitely reckless. I don't know how flamboyant. I mean, I could make it flamboyant. I could say a whole bunch of magic words that definitely mean stuff while trying to find the one that does.
I have no idea why there is even an animated GIF for this meme. Just, I was like, well, we're putting that in there.
All right. So
That's a rare find there.
There's more. I don't even understand.
So if we are arguing that this is definitely reckless, because I don't think you can argue against that. That's one for my magic. I can add my performance and scholarship, right?
Performance for sure, because you use that talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're using that instead of the magic for your roll. Then scholarship
Yeah.
and probably cunning.
Right. 5. And then, yeah. But as you said, if I have advantage, which from a trait perhaps, do I get that? I can add the point for magic as well.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Esoteric improvisation. Whenever you're required to make a test to manifest a marvel, you may pay 1 potential to test against half the difficulty, if you wish.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. So.
Okay. So it's going to end up costing you 2 potential attacks, but you only need 3 successes, I guess.
Right.
Cool. Let's see what happens.
Exactly 3. I'm glad I squeezed out every dice I could.
Okay. Yeah, you guys. Hey, it's your spell. Narrate what happens.
So I like stand there. I'm like watching the snake as it like slithers behind. And then I just like try and grab everybody under one arm as I just shout as many magic words as I possibly know, and like throw up a whole bunch of just random like dust and stuff. And like at the point I say teleport, but in a really cool and mystical accent that I can't do. Like teleport or something like that, or teleportius or
Just-
something.
Just fucking doing ninjutsu over there.
Yeah. We all like disappear into this like black void, and then suddenly appear like a crumpled like heap of arms and legs outside the shop.
Did you grab the shopkeep and take him with you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
He knows too much.
He's seen our faces.
All right. You guys have made it out. Jackie, weirdly, back at the camp, it takes them about half an hour, but they eventually somehow reestablish a connection with one of the other doors. You're not sure how they managed to pull that off, but there is then a significant scuffle. It sounds like they're fighting some kind of monster down there. You could go down there if you want to, although officially your job description is to guard the top from the Thieves Guild, which, bang up job so far.
Yep, I'm going to continue to do my job. And stay the fuck out of that.
Alrighty, they come back up. A few men, fewer than they had when they went down there,
Ooh.
But they've reestablished the connection and are now continuing to do their thing.
So it sounds like they took care of the snake.
It sounds like it. You can talk to them if you want to about what they did.
Sure, yeah, I'll go over there and maybe hang on a second. I have medicine, so I'll go over there and help them out.
Okay.
And
They're
just, kinda
shaken.
gather intelligence, yeah.
They're shaken and terrified. They've clearly taken some significant composure damage down there. They keep saying, "It's not a snake. We thought it was a snake. It's not a snake." But you eventually find out that they drove it off.
So it's just down there?
It is, but it's not a snake anymore.
What is it now?
They said it's got wings now.
Oh. Okay,
Eventually, you
cool.
piece together that while they were fighting it as though it was a snake, it was really some kind of mold or slime over top of stones that were carved in the shape of a snake skeleton. And inside its container, there were other backup skeletons of other animals. And so after they did enough damage to the snake, the slime just retreated off of it, dropping the skeleton like just a piece of museum art onto the ground, and it wrapped itself into a skeleton of something that had wings and took off flying down the Great Pit.
Cool. You
Unused
blowed out the symbiote.
Unused
Awesome.
inside the box, there was also a skeleton of something that looks very much like a saber-tooth tiger.
Awesome.
It never inhabited that, so they didn't get to see what that did.
Cool.
And that's the fight that you guys completely bypassed. Good job. I was, this whole week, I was thinking to myself, are they going to completely bypass a fight, or do I really need to, solidly prep all the abilities for all the different animal forms?
My total plan was to, because there was a bunch of monster body parts around, to just basically hook, swoop them all together into a geomassive.
Yeah. There was also your box of corpses that you'd been collecting. That was there too.
I will say it would be interesting on some level to see basically a combat session happening between the NPCs and this particular snake monster, just to illustrate the sheer devastation that these poor mooks basically fucking had to deal with. These poor goons just get wrecked by this fucking mold.
So when it rolls its stealth, it's got 7 stealth dice. It's trying to hide because it's got a sneak attack talent that lets it attack with 8 dice at threshold 4 if it's stealthed. But if it's not, then it only comes at you with 5 dice of a bite attack because you can see it coming. Once you break off 15 successes worth of its skeleton, it gets sick of being a snake and goes Drake form. And then it starts using its breath weapon, which is an area attack in which it sprays its own acid at you, and then that acid crawls back to it, recovering its hit points.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a fight you're supposed to run away from, but you guys picked up on that right away.
I mean, you did say that it was 4 feet tall. Just imagine a thick ass python. A thick ass python, dude.
Yeah, freaking huge.
Yeah.
So while I'm on the ship, as a generic thing, I overhear on the comms that we have a new business partner, and I'm interested in meeting said business partner. I'm also really interested in getting my hands on whatever the magic is behind these portable holes or whatever, the doors. I have use cases for things that swallow items and then deposit them somewhere where I can access later.
Well, here's the good news. You guys only broke one of your doors. The other one still works. It's not the one that had all the corpses in it, which is, I'm sure, very sad for Charles. But that one is functional and back at the inn. So
Yeah, I'm looking for a small version of the door, like a
Yeah,
chest size version.
Like a music box size kind of deal?
That would be dope. Music size, bread box size. That's what I'm looking for. Something like that.
it's unfortunate that the guy who found them and figured out how to make them work was recently eaten by a snake.
That is unfortunate.
He also, though, didn't really understand them. He managed to figure them out enough to get them to work. He doesn't know how to make them. They were made,
Gotcha.
Tens of thousands of years ago on the ancient Elven continent. But yeah, they do still, several of them do still exist and are functioning. And then, at some point, the morning is going to happen, and there'll be a court trial. Or a court hearing, anyway. It's not really a trial yet. Nobody's being accused of anything.
Considering all the absolutely cuckoo banana shit that went down tonight, people are probably going to be pretty steamed when they get into the courtroom.
Very steamed. Even more so because Dasco did some dastardly name dropping.
Do we have enough time that Avatala went home and just slept in?
There's definitely time for you to get home. Sleeping in is your decision.
I'm making a shrine on the boat.
The bigger question is, did we actually succeed in what we were doing down there? Like, what was our actual full plan down there?
Oh, now he's worried about the plan.
Our plan was to stop them from siphoning all their goods out the fucking doors, but unfortunately, someone unleashed a giant monster ooze snake, and so we ran so we didn't die, and they beat it, and they're down there again working. So no, we didn't, and we're out of business, partner, and we lost a door.
A door.
I say over the
Luckily,
comms,
I picked up two.
I say over the comms, did we get any money out of our late sad business partner?
No, we're just the sole surviving partners of the business.
Can we have rifled through the shop drawer at least before we left?
You're like, I got this nice pen from his desk. It's really nice.
It turns out that this guy was just a complete charlatan, and everything that was supposedly high scale and high end at his entire business was just a fake. Everything that looked gold was just foil over top of it. It was just a veneer. He had a veneer of niceness going on.
Bootleg ass
absolute
motherfucker.
crap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally fine with that. But if he didn't provide any value to us, I'm just gonna like shrug and just say, well, it wasn't a very good business partner. Next time you find a business partner, let me sort that out. I'm better at finding a business partner. They die sometimes, that's okay, but you want to make sure you get the maximum value out of them before they go.
To be fair, you usually don't summon a giant serpent slime 30 minutes into your new business.
So
I just say, you'd be surprised.
I mean, in the Troll Mountains, you never know, right? Dasco, you mentioned you were setting up a shrine?
Yeah, I'm going to set up a small shrine made with sticks and random bullshit that I find lying around on the docks, and put some water in a small bucket, and it's got some sort of, I don't know. I don't really care what it looks like. Anyway, it's going to be a little bucket with a little bit of water, like a little font, and then have some sort of little stick creature sticking up out of it. just going to assemble that together, put it in a prominent place in the boat, and I'm going to be visibly seen standing around it from time to time, praying and dropping a couple of coins in.
Okay.
If asked by sailors, I'm totally happy to explain how in my long travels I encountered some people who worship some sort of god of the sea that prevents horrible things happening at sea. And all you got to do is put some money in the basket, and it hears your prayers. And the money disappears every night.
So a few of them assume that the money is just a collection for when they get to Half Elven, and they're going to basically it's a pool for betting against a particular gentleman there who does have a similar reputation for bringing good fortune. But plenty of others are also dropping money in there for various reasons. It's easy for sailors to be superstitious on a planet that actually does have real monsters, gods, superpowered wizards, and magic and bullshit. And
you know the concept of luck itself.
Yes. And where the concept of luck is possibly a person. Yeah.
All right.
So very easy for them to be superstitious. So money's going in the bucket.
I don't intend to make any actual cash off of this bucket. I just intend to cover my liar's dice losses, so that I can continue to garner mutiny reputation if necessary with the crew. I'm going to basically bet their money that I take through this font, and then lose it back to them repeatedly for basically the entire journey. That's my plan.
Early in the morning, the captain is up and is apparently having a meeting before the sun has even risen with representatives from the mining cooperative. Apparently, all of your employees have quite worked. Offering the ships used for free as a publicity thing was too enticing for them to pass up. And so the ship you're on is going to be one of the 3 ships that will be transporting their stuff. However, that stuff has not yet been freed from, shall we call it, custody. I mean, it's currently on fire, but yeah. And so once the sun is in the sky, lawyers are gathering and preparing for a big hullabaloo.
Were we able to rest enough to recover any tax?
I've gone home and told Remy to only wake me up if something important happens.
Yeah, you spent a good portion of the evening that would have been your rest time in the basement of a dungeon of ancient elven make. I'd say there has not been enough time for a good and proper rest. But if you just passed out and then coffeeed up in the morning, you can recover 1 tax. If you're going to continue sleeping straight through the whole trial and proceedings, then you can take a normal rest.
I'm going to sleep through the proceedings at home. In my nice comfy bed.
Fair enough.
You can wake me up if it is very important. The ships are leaving.
Do I consider the trial as very important?
Yeah. Now, Charles also has a special gnome power, I think, for sleeping and recovering tax, if you want to trigger your gnome alarm clock. Oh, that's on you. But yeah, otherwise, you guys are up. All right. So this is technically it's a hearing, not really a trial, but it is overseen by a judge, and that judge is Adius. Adius del Terrasire is probably just equally hated by all of the guilds, so nobody really particularly likes him, which is why they trust him, as he's clearly not going to take a side. The guilds themselves have gathered their lawyers en masse, and there's quite a bit of muffled harumphing amongst them, as they also don't particularly like each other. Most of the lawyerage in the city is handled by the Rights and Properties Guild. But every guild needs somebody to represent them that actually knows the system and understands what's going on. And that system is that there are codes of laws set down by various kings and rulers over the years that everyone adheres to, because if the current king, Violithan, gets wind that people are stepping too far out of line, well, no one knows how to kill him, and he's quite happy to do some killing himself. Also, his dogs are terrifying. They literally breathe fire.
They chased a god out of Silibri.
Yes. An actual literal elven god came to the city to try to reclaim it for elfkind, and Violithan, not even Violithan himself, but his dogs, chased the god out of the city. So everyone's quite keen on there being a nice legal system, so that people don't have to revert to the king just killing people he doesn't like. So they are going to adhere to some standard principles of law. And one of those is this hearing, in which a neutral party will adjudicate exactly what's going to go on between all of these different groups. Do you guys want to mingle in with any particular faction in this, or do you guys want to just hang out in like the public viewing area, or do you want to stay well and clear of the place?
Oh, I'm going.
Figures. That makes total sense. I believe you.
I'll be going as well.
I think Dasco said he's gone, as in he's not going to be there. Is that right?
No, I'm going. I'm definitely.
Oh, you are
going.
going. Okay.
I'll be there. Yeah, no, I've covered my tracks enough, and if so like if anyone tries to implicate me in any of this information, I'm going to implicate somebody else, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work. So like I'm okay. Like the worst that they can do is bring me into it, and then I'll just cause more chaos. But I think like for right now, I just want to go see the fruits of my labor.
See the chaos. Okay.
Also, trials are a good way to get a bunch of people who don't know what's going on in one place that probably have more money than sense together. So if there's an opportunity, I want to.
All right, so you're, I'm assuming, then just in the general viewing area.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not
Barnabas,
being prominent.
do you want to reveal right now where you are and who you are, or do you want to keep that down low, or do you want to specifically be there as a diplomat for Korlanth, which for some reason everyone still believes you are?
I'm going to be going as the diplomat, just in case that comes in handy.
Okay.
I will be there as well. In just the general public area.
So where am I supposed to be, just based on my detail?
So the mining cooperative has you on bodyguard duty. They want you to protect their representatives as their clerks and lawyers make their case to the judge.
So they're present and I'm here then?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I will stand resolute and strong, and hopefully people will not want to get fucking anywhere near me because I'm fucking huge.
Yeah. Realistically, no one expects there to be violence at this hearing, but it does do to show a sign of strength. However, you are not permitted to bring weapons into the building.
My body's a weapon.
Yeah, and you see so many people finding ways to violate that rule. That
question.
really
Yeah,
concerned.
I was just about to ask about a loophole. Is my shield considered a weapon?
No, your shield is
Fuck
not.
yeah, then I'm bringing that shit in there.
Shields are in fact considered a form of flag. It's legal things. So yeah, your shield is a form of flag and or banner indicating your affiliation, not a weapon.
Excellent.
Yeah. Charles is gonna go hang out at the docks just in case, since he doesn't like all this formal stuff.
Okay.
On my way over to the trial, because I assume it's going to be some sort of freaking fiasco, I'm going to just go to a bakery and buy like a bunch of just regular pastries. And then I'm going to take them over and I'm going to basically set up a little stall and say these are rare Corlanti pastries with some sort of, I don't know, some sort of like aphrodisiac properties or something. And then I'll use Kristen, who is, of course, a Corlanti official, to help give me some credence there and just sell them for about twice what I paid for them.
Nice. That skin will probably net you a lot more coin than the one on the ship.
Yeah. One of the ships is just covering my bet, so I want to be able to lose money, but I don't want it to be mine.
Why lose your own money when you can lose other people's money?
Correct.
Vitala is going to be sleeping in through the trial. Though if stuff hits the fan, feel free to knock her on her door and wake her up.
You can go to sleep with your earpiece on.
So I've got everyone's position except for Remy. I don't know where you are, Remy.
Oh, I'm just gonna be. What are the different factions that are there?
Right, so the mining cooperative wants their stuff out of impound so that they can ship it out. The Rights and Properties Guild wants it to stay in impound because they believe they have a claim on some of the items that are there for tax purposes. The Thieves Guild, that's faction number 3, wants it to stay in impound so they can tax it, because they are the official tax collectors and they want to sort through it themselves and take a percentage of it. And the there's a fourth group. The Crimson Guard are there because they believe that there may be criminal activity afoot, and these are, as far as they're concerned, criminals who have committed crimes against Celebre in Baron by inciting revolution and
Yeah, I'll just be in the general public.
Okay. Cool. So as the proceeding is brought to order, Adius calls forth the 4 representatives and announces that because there is a presence of accusation about what is going on, he is going to proceed with the order of presentation as though this was a criminal trial. And so he asks for the mining cooperative to begin by posting their documents of complaint to the court. Their document of complaint is pretty straightforward. He reads it within a second. Says, I understand and recognize this. And he places it on a table in front of it. And this is a fairly sort of standard thing for proceedings here, is they're going to make a stack of papers on this table. And only when everyone believes that their stuff is in the stack are they then going to start at the top of the stack and go in reverse order from things being applied. So the complaint of the defendant is going to be the last thing read. This is supposedly going to keep things fair. After their little presentation, in which Adius does note to their lawyers that he's prepared documents for them in the event that they're not prepared for this sort of activity, it turns out, of course, that they had lots of money and paid for some lawyers. So they're good to go. Next, the primary accuser is brought forward. That would be the Crimson Guard. And the Crimson Guard begin by basically accusing them of transporting illegally acquired weaponry. This comes as sort of a shock to everybody. It's like, oh my goodness, they thought it was going to be gold or something. But yeah, they're accusing them of transporting rifle and cannon and other things that they should not be transporting. But their complaint does not just target the mining cooperative. They also levy complaint against the Rights and Properties Guild of being aware of this and seeking to acquire illegal armaments from Talus via taxation of this instead of through regular trade channels where it would be regulated properly. This immediately incites objection. Adius has to put down the objections and say you file in order. And so their lawyers are furiously amending their complaint before they put it onto the stack to refute the what they know is going to be the next complaint read under theirs as the complaint against them for withholding information about that. Then the Thieves Guild comes in, and the Thieves Guild wishes to accuse the Rights and Properties Guild of the same thing, and they know that theirs is going to be read on top. But when the Thieves Guild reveals that they knew about it, the Crimson Guard, who had previously asked the Thieves Guild to invade the warehouse to retrieve the stuff that they had learned about, and the Thieves Guild refused. Upon finding out that the Thieves Guild knew about that, the Crimson Guard are now suspect the Thieves Guild of being in on it for refusing to go and grab the stuff. And so they add another thing to the top of the stack, complaining that the Thieves Guild are up to no good. At this point, the mining cooperative file an amended complaint on top of that, accusing the Thieves Guild of actually attacking them because there was like fires in the middle of the night and stuff. And so
Excellent. Hell yeah.
basically everyone is trying to eat everyone else alive at the moment.
I'm just shocked. Just shocked.
Yeah. Now, Dasco...
This might be actually... Christopher made a point here in private, and this might actually be the time to retrieve the shit.
I don't know if they're distracted enough though, but I was like, hey, while everyone's pointing fingers at each other, let's just slip away and go steal everything.
Unfortunately, the actual soldiers guarding the stuff have probably not slipped away, but who knows, another explosion might do.
I mean, I got a whole backpack full of explosive mining satchels and stuff.
Now, the Thieves Guild does have one person there that you particularly recognize, Dasco, and that person is keeping an eye on you because he's waiting for your signal for the Thieves Guild to drop all of their claims and just let this slide through, as you had agreed upon when you agreed to help them get the documents about who is committing treason.
I mean, as far as I am concerned, everybody's committing treason, and I also don't care about people committing treason. So
you don't. They do. They want you to find the documents for them. And they're offering you full pardon and yeah, all that stuff. If you can find them the documents that the mining cooperative has that has dirt on who in Celebre has been basically helping Aphthis on the sly in exchange for not getting cursed.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be locked up amongst all this stuff.
Yep, one of the doors is the doors to their documents room, and that would be probably where it is.
Yeah, I was kind of relying on our A team to do that, but as far as I can tell, they just blew up a bunch of zombies and then got a snake sicked on them. So.
But if you give him the signal, his agreement with you was that he will cause the Thieves Guild to retract their legal claims and back out of this situation.
Gotcha. And that would basically put us in the free and clear and take all this stuff.
Or that would almost immediately result in the stuff being loaded on the boat, because at that point, the only claim of relevance that's would still be standing is the claim that they had illegally acquired Cilician's the metal. Why am I spacing on the name of it? Bennington. They'd illegally acquired Cilician Bennington for use in rifles and cannons. and that would be the only complaint left standing. That complaint will probably not hold water if a investigation of the material is authorized, because the investigator is not going to find the secret room.
Yeah.
They'll go down there, see there's no Bennington, because it's all been shuffled through the portals, and and then they'll clear them, and all that stuff will start getting loaded onto the docks into the ship that you're already set up on.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll let the rest of the group know that I can end this charade whenever we want, but we should probably, but yeah, to Kristen's point, like, there's a solid opportunity here for us to go in and get some stuff, and in order for me to do that, I either need to give them some evidence of some paperwork that's probably down there, or I have to forge that paperwork, which I hadn't planned on doing. So if we can find the actual paperwork, it'd probably just make everything easier. I'm also not putting myself up for going down into a place with a snake and a bunch of exploded zombies. But I mean, if I have to, I'm still selling my bread right now. So I guess I can't leave the trial anyway because they're looking to me for the signal. Right. So.
I mean, yeah, the guy's looking for you. Like he knows where you are. He knows who you are. He's looking at you. He's just like, yeah, waiting. As soon as you give him a signal, he's gonna do his thing. But
okay, so I'm basically gonna give him the secret signal of we're working on it.
Okay.
Keep buying us time.
Okay. So he keeps filing amended documents with more accusations, and the distraction is maintained.
All right. So I guess the core objective right now is to find those documents. I don't think I've ever been down to that room. So we have a team that's is Jack, is your character still down there? Are you still on like guard detail down there? Or something?
Jackie's a bodyguard at the trial.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm with the VIPs who are at the fancy hoity-toity bureaucratic paper thing. Yeah, trial.
Barnabas has been there, but Barnabas is currently being called to testify as to the contents of the because Barnabas took before they entered the city, they had Barnabas took an inventory of everything they had, and the court is now calling the Corlanthi ambassador to please present a record of what the Corlanthi ambassador recorded as being present prior to them entering the city.
Great. So assuming that she took a real inventory and not a just made up inventory. Yeah.
Yeah, he did, but that doesn't necessarily have to be what he presents. It's up to Kristen.
Oh. Yeah, so I guess, is it to our benefit that they don't know exactly what the inventory is?
Lie your ass off.
Our benefit is the most amount of misinformation possible.
Yeah, basically corroborate that there is fucking weapons in there, and that will cause more crazy shit to happen, most likely.
Nothing good can come of telling the truth. So just lie your ass off. But since you did take that inventory, I guess I ask you over comms, like, if you were going to basically store and or hide a bunch of sensitive documents in the inventory that you took, like, where would they be?
And the answer is in cart number 12.
Cart number 12.
Okay, so we need to get cart number 12 and get some documents out of cart number 12. We need to get, actually, you know what? If it's easier, let's just take all of cart number 12 and just move it into the Thieves Guild. Or something, like, if that's a possibility.
It might be, because cart number 12 is itself just a cart with a door. The importance of that door is that door leads to a documents room. But if you took the door out of the cart, you got the door.
Gotcha. And we own the place the door goes?
Correct.
Yeah.
You have one.
We don't control it.
We have access to the area, but it is the control of this area is highly contested, and that's being generous because mostly they're just doing whatever they want down there now that they have lost a few men to the spooky snake thing, and they're just moving shit along. So honestly, the whereabouts of some of the crucial shit is not exactly known, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they've had a few hours to do whatever it is they had intended to do, so it's probably done whatever it is they were intended to do. That doesn't mean you can't go down there, but yeah, the easiest access to the door would be to go to the warehouse where the door is, which right now there's a motion being filed to it's being added to the stack to have basically for the court to argue as to whether or not they should be sending a delegation of everyone together, including the judge, down there to actually look at the carts. It is presumed now. Adius is an interesting character because he is presuming that the defense will argue against that. He doesn't even ask them if they're arguing against it. He's presuming that the defense is going to be filing a motion to suppress looking at their cart as an issue of privacy. So another reason that he's often not liked is that he presumes his enemy's position. But in this case, yeah. So they're gonna argue that, and right now what they want to hear is whether or not Barnabas has an inventory that, if it exists and is accurate, could be used in place of everybody going down there and actually looking at it.
Excellent.
Now, you've been getting some conflicting information. So your party has been telling you to lie your ass off, but your party's also been telling you to tell them they have weapons. And the truth is they do have weapons. You saw them. You counted them.
I mean,
Yeah. And we don't care about the weapons, right? We want all the valuables.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta be flexible with this stuff. So tell them they have weapons. Just lie your ass off about how many they have. Like, just go crazy. Just go crazy about it.
Yeah. Basically, I'm going to give them an inventory. It's a fudged inventory where I've replaced all of the valuables in the inventory with with weapons.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just an absolute epic amount of weapons, but no valuables really.
What I love is probably the jaw drop upon hearing this for the first time. They're looking at this Coralanthe fucking delegate, and they're like, "Motherfucker, we've been seeing you at the carts. We were there with you. What the fuck are you saying?" Yeah. Oh, it's so delicious.
And then the Corlothian ambassador's never seen again.
Yeah. Because he's not even a real fucking person. He's just a goddamn ghost. Oh, it's so delicious.
And the mining cooperative is shocked by your testimony because they thought you were on their team. They thought that you were going to let them take all those weapons over to Corlanthe and give them to Corlanthe because they're your people. The very idea that you are a spy has not occurred to them yet. And so they're
fucking devastating.
They're devastated by this. They're like, what? Not just that you're being honest, which they didn't expect. They expected you would lie to keep it, a secret to help smuggle all these riches to your nation. But you're now lying about how much they have so that they look even worse. It's this deep betrayal, and they're very confused.
It's 4D chess. Just pretend it's crazy 4D chess. Like, those Corlanthes are trying to sneak around our agreement.
I'd like to imagine that Barbas is also presenting this in the most monotonous, matter-of-fact voice possible.
Yeah.
In Cart 1, there were
4,000 pounds of.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So with that beautiful lie, they move to perform an investigation of the material facts. That comes up next in the docket. Of course, the mining cooperative has some trouble with this one now because their position is that it's a lie, but no, you can't see it, and that's not flying with anybody. So Adius says upon determining that this is an indeterminable piece of information, it must be investigated so that we are operating on facts and not on accusations of mistruth. It says we will now discuss who will be doing the secondary audit. And his immediate thing is there should be 2 representatives from each of the interested parties. Yeah, one of those. That's exactly the meme that's going on right there. Localized entirely to your kitchen. May I see it? No. Right, and so that's his initial proposal, is for 2 people from each interested party. Korloff is not considered an interested party in this, so you might be excused from this investigation, but this does mean there's going to be a large contingent of people descending upon that caravan, which could create some opportunities for you guys. Now, obviously, the number of mining cooperative people that are participating in this is unlimited. They have their full contingent, but 2 Thieves Guild representatives, 2 Crimson Guard representatives, and 2 Rights and Properties Guild representatives are selected to accompany Judge Adius to the warehouse to observe the damage done by the supposed attacks, and then to also observe the contents of the weapons. Interestingly, of course, you guys are pretty confident that when he gets there will be no weapons, but yeah, it's a distraction. And so without interruption then, it seems that they begin to process. Who is going to try to go with them? Rourke, you're immediately ordered to go with them and make sure that their thieving hands don't take anything.
Yes, sir.
Barnabas is definitely getting out of here after...
Barnabas may be good, but not as the Corlothian ambassador.
Yeah. I have peeled away from the crowd and slowly slipped out of my disguise and into a different one.
Yeah, I think that disguise is basically burnt at this point.
Burned. You better hope that literally no one fucking saw you, because that guy is wanted to dead.
The mining cooperative will, yeah. And probably Korloff.
Like, they won't even say shit. If they ever saw that guy, there would be no discussion. It would just be, you are dead.
It would be interesting if the body of the original guy was suddenly found.
It would be. You put his corpse in the pile with the other corpses, right? Which is currently in the basement. Where the snake was.
This fucking game.
I forgot we did that.
Let's put this corpse over here with the rest of the corpses.
Just stuff it in the closet with the others.
Oh,
so you totally know where that corpse is if you want to go get it.
That our closet full of corpses. Did that one get cracked open also?
Yes.
So we can get into the basement through that room.
If the door becomes operational again, yes.
But this means we have to turn on our door, right? That's all?
And you'd probably have to get whatever those little blue glowing magic generators are up and running again around that room.
Oh.
It looked like to you what the mining cooperative had done is they tampered with the generator that was directly under their room, turning off a portion of the force field so that they were able to drill up from underneath. The large splashes on the ground indicate they drilled into one of their own wine barrels, but they managed to get a hole in the wine room going, and then they were shuffling stuff through that hole. But then the explosion damaged the ones that were keeping everything held together, and it fell. Because it was floating above the ground before that, and then it kind of collapsed down. When it did that, Rorik noticed that they lost their connection on their door. You guys haven't tried your door yet, but evidence suggests that the door probably won't work, at least not without somebody with some magical knowledge going down there and doing some tampering. But if you happen to wake Evatala, Evatala's not at the proceedings right now, and she could totally take a little trip.
Yeah, I'm also not at the hearing as well. Could have another.
Yeah, that's right. Another magical person. Charles is down by the docks right now. You've got two magical peoples that are not at the hearing that could potentially. It's almost like you planned it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost is the most important word in that sentence. And that's the beauty of it. We're just, like a leaf on the wind.
Charles, you're at the docks near the boat, right?
Yeah.
You do see a group of mining cooperative people bringing a, let's call it a package. It's a pretty large box, but it's not like huge. And they're bringing it on board one of the ships that they've recently chartered.
Does it look like it could hold a door?
It looks like it might hold 3 of them.
I'll send a blip that to the rest of my crew.
That's probably the blip that would get Evatala going, because Evatala, as well as Daska, but have access to these ships.
Just ahead up, my hunch of going to the docks helped up be fruitful. Looks like they're bringing a few doors down there.
Charles, can you test our door and see if it works?
Well, that would be at the inn. I'm
That's
currently at the
inn?
docks.
Oh, I thought we had it at the. Why are our doors not on our boats?
Well, the ship hasn't gone yet. Or should it be on the dock, on the boats? I don't know.
The ships were only just recently acquired, too. But yeah,
Fair enough.
it would be a good idea to bring your door to your boat. I agree with that.
Who's in charge of these details?
You are!
You do actually, I mean, Troy's character is still around, so you give him some basic assignments, maybe.
Can he test the door?
Yeah. So he's the one that does not lead to the corpse pile is working fine. The other one, it fizzes and sparks like it's trying, but it's not making a connection.
But the one that is working, which is that one empty?
Yes.
We can't get into the basement from it unless we figure out how to tamper with the magic.
Unless you figure out which of the many boxes in the basement it is, and then tamper with the magic, yes. The other one, you at least know which one it is, but you still have to tamper with magic.
You could try and have it be where it's like Charles and Evatala are trying to send a signal to each other.
I was gonna
from the other side.
Hoping Charles would go down and potentially Evatala. Both of them.
Well, you need one person on each side, right? Or no?
I mean, as far as I know, no.
The last time
But
you
I don't
guys
know.
did a tracking, Charles supercharged Evitala's magic, and then you guys just enchanted a corpse and closed the door, and you were able to track the corpse.
But we got the druid can stay in the room and be on the other side.
Yes.
Perfect.
The druid also has the ability to magically phase through walls.
Can you magically phase through the magical walls?
Totally. I really wish Troy had been here for a lot of this. Yeah, so he can totally phase into the walls, but he finds himself pushed back by a force field. If somebody can bring down the force fields, he can go in and out of the rooms without actually needing to drill holes into them.
Well, I mean, we know how to bring down the force fields.
Yes, you just need to find a way to bring them down gently. But yeah.
All right. So Charles and Evitala, you guys want to go on force field duty down in the basement?
Sure. How many people? Like, how active was that boat anyway? The one that the potential doors are going to.
All my peoples are on it.
Yeah, it's a super friendly place for your crew right now. You're talking about the boat, right?
I'm talking about the boat where the mining corpses were moving the what's it called? The doors
carts?
into.
Yeah, they've got a crate that's of the correct size to be holding 3 doors inside it. They don't have a frame set up on the boat, so they can't actually open the doors. They just have them. And they're in the crate, presumably. You don't think of anything else that crate would hold. They've loaded it onto the boat, and now they're hanging out, talking to the crew, trying to figure out where they're going to put the various carts once the proceeding is over, with the confidence that everything's going to go according to plan. They're planning to basically bring the carts onto the boat. They want to have 2 carts per boat. They've chosen 6 carts that matter, and the rest of them are staying behind. The carts themselves do contain door frames that the doors can be mounted into. So they might be waiting for the carts to use those as frames.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if there was a way to get that crate or not, or if it would just be like too much alertness.
Yeah, you'd probably be alerting them right now. They're trying not to look like they're guarding it, but they're also not ever going too far away from it.
I'll head down to the basement as well.
Okay, so you're going to leave the proceeding.
Yep.
Yeah, the delegation, the assigned delegation, is leaving the proceeding as well. They're traveling with the judge to go visit the carts at the other end in the warehouse. Evitala, have you awoken?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. When they're leaving, what's happening on the court? How busy is the actual courtroom floor?
It's pretty busy with the lawyers that don't get to go arguing with each other. You want to do something? Only 2 representatives from each guild are getting to go and examine the claims. So all the rest of their guards and representatives and stuff are just staying there arguing. The entirety of the mining cooperative is left, though. So
They're
there's
just
no mining
arguing amongst themselves?
Yep. Yeah, some accusations were thrown around the previous evening that the different parties... Basically, Dasco used Scapegoat to just get each of the 3 guilds to blame each other for this, to create a circle of mistrust that greases the wheels for you guys. I'll have that uploaded to YouTube at some point. It's really quite brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah, the normally quite cordial Thieves Guild and Crimson Guard are now mistrusting of each other, and neither of them think that the Rights of Properties Guild are up to any good. Rights Properties Guild thinks it's all a conspiracy against them.
Around what time is it?
This would be about a couple hours after sunrise, so probably like 9 a.m.
Talus still sleeping.
What how hard do I think it would be to get a paper on that stack?
With your skills, I think you could pull it off.
All right.
You have Daywalker too, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that
Okay.
it's a crowded room full of people doesn't really affect you.
Okay, so I did not sleep last night, so I didn't get anything recovered. I met with some of Talus' lawyers, and we're just gonna add the Fisherman's Guild has a complaint.
Ooh.
They're gonna have a complaint against the Thieves Guild and the Crimson Guard for taking away Thieves Guild for taking away product that they were going to handle, and the Crimson Guard from tying up their resources and not allowing them to perform their duty and costing them money.
Okay, that's clever. I like that.
If we need more time, I'm sure the Hellafard family can also buy time with complaints.
So I have a small idea. Though I need to get someone probably need to wake up because I'm probably better at the magic thing. Is to make it look like the box was taken via illusion, and then when they go panicking and going to go look for it, we just snatch that box because I feel like that those ones are the ones that have the holes drilled in them, and we can just put them into our ship and pop them open. What say you?
I mean, if you're asking me, I know that your character has access to the correct skills, although it'd be a tough roll because it's outside of your domain, but not impossible. If you're asking your team, you may want to check with them on that, because if you fail, there's going to be some consequences.
Yeah, that's what I'm currently doing. I'm asking my team.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to hide? The box?
There's a box that's been loaded onto the boat. It is the correct size to contain 3 doors.
Oh, that box. Okay.
And what I want to do is have an illusion look like it, like someone magically teleported it away.
Well, we control the crew.
Yeah.
On the ship, right? And
correct.
We know where the doors lead to in the basement. And from the basement, we can get a pretty good idea of which doors which rooms they've tampered with, so we can figure out which ones belong to the mining cooperative. I don't know if that's worth the risk right now.
You'd rather want to go through the other way?
Rather get through our own door.
I just don't know if we could go through the other way or just use the crew that we have when we're not at harbor, surrounded by the mining guild and everybody else. I just don't know if it's worth the risk right now.
Getting your own door working does sound like a good plan, because then you'll have access to that room even after you guys leave harbor and start sailing towards Corlanth. So you could siphon out the money or whatever it is, whatever you're going to do that way. But while you're here in Celebre, you don't need the door to get to that room. You know where the shop is. The shopkeeper's dead. The shop is defunct at this point. You can just go there and go through his secret entrance under the floor. The only other people who know about that secret entrance is the mining cooperative.
So yeah, I'll head over and quickly go over to the end and like kick down our teammate's door and like basically get them up out of bed to come down. To the
If you're
basement.
going to the inn, you ain't finding her.
If you go to her estate, however, a butler greets you at the door and says, "The Lady Evitala is not available to receive guests at the moment." The butler is, however, a mortal. A simple living person.
Well,
just call her on your phone.
I'll just beep Avatali again.
Evitala, you're receiving frantic whisper spells from probably from one of your teammates if you want to actually listen to them.
Give me 1 second.
You've been put on hold.
If you want to keep your butler, get downstairs now.
You could just ask politely, like literally every other person.
This is
I
the guy
respond.
that like he lost his butler, and so you guys rescued his butler, and his butler was like in a suitcase for a while, and then he decided he didn't need it anymore. And I think threw him into a swamp or something.
No, I sucked out his soul, then threw it in the swamp.
Yeah, that's right. Sucked out his soul to power his magic watch. Yeah.
You see, like,
I'm just saying
like
he's got a history.
Yeah, if you like look past the butler, you will see Evitala is like hang out at like the base of a long, extravagant staircase, and she's like in like a dressing gown, like her hair's all messed up. You know, she hasn't done her makeup. She's You didn't know that she had a pimple before, but now you do. Um, she has like half brushing her teeth at the same time. She's like, let him in.
The butler lets you past into a house of such extravagance as you have never seen.
What?
What was that?
She's actually going to lead you upstairs towards her quarters, and then tell you, okay, you are going to stand right here outside this door, and you can talk through this door. It closes the door. She goes to the other side. If you like look at the door, you see that it's like a bathroom where she's going to be getting ready for the day.
Meanwhile, down on the streets, Dasco, you've made quite a pretty penny selling what everyone was quite certain were authentic Corlanthy treats. Of course, your Corlanthy co-conspirator is gone now, probably forever.
That's right.
But yeah, you guys can meet up. The delegation does have quite a few people going along with them that are clearly not going to be allowed in, just curious onlookers and such.
I mean, I'll be amongst the curious onlookers, I guess, for now.
Okay.
I'm not. I haven't decided whether I want to go in or not. I'm sure I could like talk to a Thieves Guild guy and get access, but we'll see how it goes. Like my interest is basically I'm going to be talking to the rest of the group who's been down here, particularly Kristen, because she's like actually seen what's down there, right? And gone through it. So specifically looking for. I'm going to try because the Thieves Guild's going in to do this inspection. I want to tell them where to look, and specifically, I want to also get them to not look in places that we don't want them to look.
Your guy spots you, and he indicates with hand sign that he has a position that he can swap you in for as one of the 2 Thieves Guild representatives. It'll basically be you and him representing the Thieves Guild if you want to go in. He's got a spot lined up for you. He is expecting that in so doing, he'll be setting you up in a position to go get those documents.
All right, I hand sign back by giving him a thumbs up.
Okay. And so, at an appropriate time, you're pulled in, given the appropriate sash, and you are now one of the 2 Thieves Guild representatives that's going to be going in. You're going in with a lawyer from the Rights and Properties Guild that you had just the previous night given some very scandalous information to. Upon seeing you in the official sash of the Thieves Guild, he smacks his forehead and goes, "Of course." I should have known. So you've replaced one lie with another.
I offer him a Corlanti pastry. There's a Corlanti pastry.
He shrugs and takes it. He's certain that you wouldn't poison him quite so blatantly. And, enjoys the pastry as you guys walk. So, meanwhile, at the courthouse, did we do a roll to see if you could drop those? I actually have no doubt you're going to succeed the roll, but...
No, I have not rolled anything yet.
Okay.
Okay, what am I? I'm rolling my stealth and...
Probably agility on this.
Agility, yeah.
Yeah. There are no... okay. Unless you're using the if you're not going to use that ability you have for Daywalker, then there is a pretty significant difficulty for doing this in a crowded room.
I'm using it.
If you're using it, then this is, you're adding a sheet of paper to another pile of sheets of paper. It's all about the quick hand motion, because once it's there, no one's going to see anything any differently than it was before. It's all about finding that moment.
That one shot.
All right. You've done it. The Fishing Guild has officially lodged a complaint.
And now I make my way to the basement as fast as I...
Okay. You're going to go the long way, right? Going to the shop and then through the secret passage? All right.
Yes.
Possibly on the way you meet Evatala and Charles if they, at that point, are finished getting ready. So, Rorik, you have... you've entered basically returned to the warehouse with the guard, along with the 2 lawyers from the Rights and Properties Guild, a guard captain and his scribe from the Crimson Guard, and Dasko and Dasko's friend from the Thieves Guild.
Amazing.
And leading the procession is Adius del Tarasire, who, as judge of this, now gestures to the basically your boss, the head of the mining cooperative, or at least the local head, to begin opening all of his carts one by one to reveal the contents within.
Awesome.
The first sets of carts that he lines up are all just the guard carts. He's clearly buying for time to get everything else organized.
Excellent. So all his muscle is up front. So you could feasibly debilitate his entire offensive force by isolating those carts from the others.
Those are the carts that have all basically the housing for his grunts.
Just so are the grunts in there as well?
No. No, the grunts are standing around guarding. There are not as many as there used to be.
Gotcha, because some of them have been taken out, yeah.
Here on display, we have our grunts.
A couple were eaten by a snake. No one's mentioned that to the public yet. And then several of them had been knocked unconscious the previous evening. They've since recovered, but they're not in active duty right now. They're in a little recovery area with bandages on their heads.
Isn't that nice, guys?
They very much like to remember who hit them over the head. They're sure it was Thieves Guild.
Excellent.
All right. While they're getting ready for that, Avatala, have you finished preparing?
Sure. This is probably the least dressed up she will tolerate being out in public with. But also it means that she's not immediately spottable as a rich person. Just somebody slightly well-to-do.
And no longer a pirate captain.
For the time being.
Okay. So
honestly, this might be more convincing than the original.
So you and Charles meet up with Remy at the shop, for the doors shop that has the secret passage leading down. Meanwhile, Dasco, you're being introduced to several useless carts that just have bed sheets and such. You do notice, though, that the chests that used to have all of the basic spare clothes and stuff for all the soldiers, all those chests are missing. And you find out why when they get finished with all of 7 of the guard post carts, and they open up the first treasure cart, and it just has a whole bunch of chests full of gold coins. When it comes to lying, you know a lot about lying. You're really good at lying. At no point during anyone's investigation were chests of gold coins mentioned, which not even Barnabas knew about them. As far as you know, these appeared out of nowhere. But maybe not nowhere, since there was some shenanigans the previous evening with portals. These are the chests that used to have all the guard stuff in them, but now they are, as they are opened one by one, just full of currency. Did you want to make any comment on them, or do any searching, as you are a representative of the Thieves Guild in this regard?
Check underneath the gold, see if there's anything hidden down there. But they legitimately are just chests full of gold.
Good call. You do find that they are using the chests to cover up the doors. The doors are being made to look like the shelves the chests are mounted on.
Oh, I say, huh. Well, this is peculiar. Okay, so guys, do we want to let everybody know that there's a bunch of magical doors with shit in them? Or what do we want to do here?
Because if you don't, you're about to open 6 carts worth of just chests of money.
Do we know, are the doors marked in any way? So I can tell what's in individual doors?
They were marked, but these do not appear to have marks that you recognize on them. However, you could do an investigation check to see if somebody left secret marks on them.
Okay, let's do that.
Also, you do know that one of these carts has the Fishing Guild's mark on it if you want to draw attention to that.
One of the carts.
One of the carts, yes. Remy had marked the Fishing Guild's logo on the outside of a cart before the carts entered the city. And Remy has also filed a complaint for the Fishing Guild. So further confusion can be caused by linking the two.
Okay, well, I'll do that just right now.
Okay.
Just to start off the confusion.
The Fishing Guild? How curious. Harumph, harumph, they say. When they get back to the courthouse, that's going to cause quite the explosion.
We could point out the doors at the very end.
Holy crap, you got a lot of dice for investigation. That's awesome. You are certain there is some system to it, but you don't know what that system is.
Gotcha. I mean, what is behind these doors? Like everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of them has... you're pretty sure that one of the ones that had the wine in it, because there were two, is probably gone.
Okay. So my understanding,
that,
just to make sure I'm clear, my understanding is everybody knows there's a whole bunch of gems and gold in this warehouse. This is not news to anybody.
Not news to anybody.
Also, the Thieves Guild is 100% fine with all that shit walking directly out this door onto that ship.
Yeah, they're because it doesn't matter what country it goes to, somebody from the Thieves Guild is going to steal the correct amount.
Correct. Okay, so all that's fine regardless. There's also a bunch of other bullshit in here that we kind of don't care about.
I mean, there's huge quantities of just gold bars. Platinum.
Yeah, that's all going to go on the ship, though, right? Like that sort of stuff. But there's also a quantity of stuff that, if it were brought into the open, would cause a great calamity of nonsensical chaos.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Very specifically, that is a doorway that has Bennington cylinders in it. A doorway that has Petrish, like actual fully functional Petrish battle suits, basically.
Right, and we don't want any of that stuff because it doesn't really have any usable, reasonable value for us anyway. Right. So okay, so I'm just gonna let it out. Like I'm gonna take some of the get some guys to help me load some of these chests down, take one of the shelves off, and open the door.
Okay.
So this is a curious looking shelf, and then open it up and say, "Whoa, what is this?" And then I'm going to say, because I'm interested in them going into these doors and getting all the stuff. I'm also going to tell my Thieves Guild guys that their documents are behind one of these doors, and that's what we're looking for. But I'm also interested in just sowing absolute chaos, and I'm going to say, what is this? Some sort of a magical door of holding kind of thing? They're explicitly trying to hide. It's like, could the Applied Thaumaturgy Guild be involved in this?
Oh my god!
How deep does this conspiracy go? And then
You're going to start a full-on guild war across the entire city.
Having already pointed out that the Fisherman's Guild is conspicuously on one of these cards.
Alrighty. Yeah, so you open them up. In the end, it turns out that 3 doors are missing. The door with the Bennington is missing, the door with the Petrish pieces are missing, and the door with the explosives is missing. All of the other doors are there, and you reveal all of that stuff to them. All the ingots, and ultimately what the Thieves Guild wanted, which was the door with all the documents. And now you and your buddy are the only actual representatives of the Thieves Guild here at the moment. The other guilds see the documents and they're kind of like, okay, that's paperwork. That's not valuable. The Rights and Properties Guild does respect the value of paperwork to some extent, but they were mostly there because they had what they thought was a credible accusation that there was Bennington here, which they are not finding. But yes, there is quite a hullabaloo with the sheer quantity of gold, platinum, and mithril that's present here. way more than the chests contained.
Any idea where that Bennington went off to, guys? Anyone have any thought?
It's in one of the 3 doors that's on our ship.
Oh, I see. We took it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Worst case scenario, it just screws over the Rights and Properties Guild, which is not really care. That's irrelevant. So we're good to go.
Yeah, when you guys went down there, they had taken 3 doors through the hole they drilled into the wine room, and they had set them against a wall, and then they were trying to set up a frame to be able to make use of those doors there, and you guys blew that shit up. So the doors were left down there. They frantically got a crew to go down there and fight the snake and recover the doors, and the doors are now under ship. That's the path that took.
So it got to where it was going at the end, and we depleted their manpower.
Now, here's the funny thing, because you guys are now opening these doors to show all these people. Meanwhile, Remy, Evitella, and Charles have descended the basement, and you guys, it's really muted, but you can just barely hear the banging of all of these people just crowding into these rooms and looking at all the gold stuff, which probably will let you figure out which ones of these crates actually has stuff in it, especially if you coordinate with Dasco and Rourke, who are watching the people go in and examine. So if you want to leave some markers right now for which of the boxes contain goodies, this is an excellent time.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should leave them in a way that like only we will discover it, because we know that they have access to this area as well. And continual access.
An alternative might be to just draw a map for yourselves. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
So,
I mean, I have full authority here because I'm a member of the Thieves Guild, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put a subtle but useful scratch on all the doors that have shit that I care about.
Okay. Yeah, they're on the other side in the big cavern where all the rooms are floating in the air, and they're hearing the noise of you letting people into those rooms.
Oh, right. Yeah,
so they're using that noise and asking you which room you've just let people into to figure out which of those floating blocks in the sky in that giant room are which pieces of tasty loot.
Gotcha. So I'm going to mark the doors. I'm going to mark the doors with some sort of a little kind of Thieves Guildy numerical scratch mark, so that later on we can remember door to what they're figuring out connections.
I think we should draw a map rather than marking down here, because if they see marks down here, they'll know that somebody's on to them.
Yeah, but if we shuffle the doors, we're going to want to know where they go.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll make basically I'm making some sort of obscure marks, and then like a cipher, and then you guys can just say, okay, the triangle room represents this location, and it has this stuff in it. So we find the door with a triangle mark on it, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
The chaos in me wants to almost like when they get all the doors onto the ship, when they get out far enough, is to just mass deactivate all the ones that contain all the loot, so that when they go to open the doors, they can actually connect to them. And by the time that they do a 360 to come back to the place, we've already taken it all.
That still leaves a lot of gold that's just sitting on the boat.
It represents a fraction of what we could get, though, right?
The gold that's in the chests that they have in the carts right now is just a fraction. Yeah, it's a seriously impressive looking amount. It's an amount that's impressive enough that everybody's going, yes, that's the treasure. There it is at last. But those are the people that didn't see what was actually in the rooms.
Right. But we bought that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
In fact, that's, in some of these cases, is worth more than like the documents room.
I mean, can we just give the door to the document? I mean, just give the documents are basically owned by the Thieves Guild at this point, so they can have them. We don't really need those, but like, can we just open a door and just chuck all the chests into it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of can. If you'll need to get your door set up, that's going to be one of the key things there. But yeah. So
That
so right now what's going on then is you guys are mapping out where everything is, and so you get a map of all of that. The key things that are not indoors that are on the carts are, of course, all the chests, all of the gemstones. Those were not in a door, and all of the magic items. Those were not in a door. The Crimson Guard is trying to amend their... they're planning to anyway. The scribe is furiously writing down an amendment to seize all of the magic weapons, including the wands, rings, cloaks, staves, suits of armor, daggers, axes, etc. But the Rights and Properties Guild is deeply disappointed that no Bennington was found. The Thieves Guild has what they wanted. They're ready to back out. The guy says, this is it. This is what we came here for. Everything else we'll steal later. Yeah, whatever it is you're up to, Dasco, have at it.
All right.
And with that, the judge, having seen that there are no illegal implements here, calls the group to proceed back to the courthouse. Oh, something though that you guys do notice while you're working underground, the underground team, when they are examining the one remaining wine room, there were originally two. One of them is blown up. But the other remaining wine room, you guys, when you mark that on your map, you notice that there is a specific amount of tampering that's been done with one of the magical little pyramid things that's emitting blue rays to hold up that. And that might be a clue that you could use to do similar tampering yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am going to sit there and study it and try to figure out what it is. Like I totally know what I'm doing.
Cool. So this would definitely be cunning plus scholarship. You don't have to make all of the successes that you need all at once. This is a cumulative test. And so, yeah, you can retry this test probably a couple times a day as you get new information. At least once a day if you don't get new information.
All right, so okay, scholarship. That's not. Oh wait, yes, that is the correct thing. 3 successes.
Oh, that's pretty decent. Charles, do you want to contribute to that?
Sure.
Like a pair of engineers hovering over a new toy. The two of you pluck at the threads of magic coursing through it and figure out that there is a way to make a hole underneath one of these boxes that is no longer protected by force field, meaning that that hole could then be drilled out by sufficient manpower and or drilling equipment. This particular one does seem to have had some similar drilling done. It's got a false bottom that once the crowds are gone, you open it up and find that you're in an empty wine barrel inside a dark and airless room. So this is clearly their second entrance that they use to come down and fight the snake. Knowing what you now know, you might be able to begin replicating it on your own door.
Not the one with the bodies, though.
Not the one with the bodies. That one you're going to need a little more help to get reactivated.
Alright,
That one is literally cracked in half and has fallen from its perch floating in the sky. This one is still floating, as is your other one.
Okay. But we don't know where this one leads to on the wall yet, do we? The cavern? What particular door is our door?
Yeah, you have Troy's character can just bang on the wall. He can like phase through the wall and bang on the force field.
Okay. So we do that now.
So yeah,
Okay.
you find that, and you can start setting up your own portal exit with that door. You'll then want to get the door itself and a frame onto the ship so you can get access to it and continue to access this room even after the ship sets sail.
Well, we have it in on the people loading the ship, so if a single chest got like mixed in, it'll just get loaded. In fact, I think I'm actually going to be helping load the ship if I remember correctly our agreement.
You also set up the guys who were supposed to steal stuff. You really set them up to have a bad day. Your uncle will probably be displeased at how this all plays out, but yeah.
I could set him up as a scapegoat and inherit part of the fortune.
Alrighty, it is now midnight, so not in the game. In the game, it's still probably about noon, but here in real life, it's about midnight. Did you guys want to close up? And we'll pick up next time with the return to the courthouse, which is largely uneventful, except for the total chaos that you've created.
You guys are going to have to forgive me. I am absolutely bushed. Love you all. Mwah. Points for everybody. You all did so good. I'm proud of you all. Oh, and for the recap, is it a point? Is it an experience point that
It's
I get?
a character point.
Character point.
All right. I'd like to give one to Echelon for just like every session. It seems like he adds one or two more guilds to this, like this whole conspiracy theory thing. Like this time it was like the one of the magic guilds. He's like, oh, they must be a part of this. I like to give one to Rav for having a no bones day. You know, it's a joke. It's a TikTok thing. Well, basically like a relaxing day, sort of. I like to give one to Eben for them to even add more flames to the fire by adding that complaint from the Fish Guild. And I want to give one to Shifty for always being there, even if we didn't know it.
All right, I'll go. First off, a point to Tice for getting a very grumpy avatar out of bed and actually be helpful. a point to Kristen for confusing gold for weaponry. In a convenient accident that definitely was not planned by a imposter. I'd give a point to Ed for really all the or fruits of organization from the past couple sessions has really come to fruition now, and it's. I don't think anybody knows what's actually going on or who objects to what anymore, and that's great. Um, I'd like to give a point to Chris for just being just being able to really provide crucial support to all of our harebrained schemes with like actual planning and cutting. And a point to Jackie for just being the muscle walking around and definitely not being on the inside at all times. And really comforting those 10 people that you knocked out.
Thank you.
All right, I will jump in. Point to Viv for that successful group teleport so that we didn't have to fight the snake. A point to Chris for using Troy's character. I think that might have been the first time we were able to leverage Troy's character without him being here, so that might come, or maybe it was the second time, but nonetheless, comes in handy. Nice to remember that he's around in spirit. Point to Jackie for my body as my weapon. And also, your shield that is amazing and somehow doesn't get considered a weapon. Point to Tice for happening to be on the dock, which was a great thing because you were able to be our lookout and catch things we wouldn't have caught if we weren't there, or if you weren't there. And a point to Ed, the house always wins, for betting with other people's money and just the baking scheme and just always coming up with schemes to make more money, because that always comes in handy.
All right, I'll go to Jackie for being our woman on the inside. It's not that exciting right now, but it is nice knowing you're always there. Ed for scamming for like $20 when we're trying to steal the wealth of nations. Viv for saving us all, so we didn't have to fight a snake, which I'm pretty sure none of us could have fought. Kristen for stirring the pot, and with your now as the Corlanthi ambassador. Tice for helping research the doors so we can learn a little more about them and get our stuff up and running again.
Cool, yeah. So Jackie for being our general bodyguard and the only person that would actually have been useful if we had to fight the snake. Thankfully we didn't. Kristen for bailing on that disguise. It was a good disguise. It lasted a good time. You bailed at the right time, I think, and did as much damage as you could on your way out, which is excellent. Tice for creating additional chaos and just kind of playing into just creating more chaos around the figuring out. No one has any idea what's happening, including us at this point, and I think that's great. So I think that's good. Viv for basically saving everyone's butt and then sleeping for several days, as far as I can tell. It was awesome. And then Chris for like you don't really like your general rule seems to be something like if you don't have a plan, then you can't fail, you know. And then having the discussion where it's like we didn't have a plan. It's like, but our plan failed. It's just like there's currently a giant snake down there, and a bunch of exploded zombies, and we don't have access to things, and our business associate is dead. It's like, so we didn't really have a plan, but if we did, it would have failed.
Is that everybody? I think it is. Alrighty. Thank you very much. We will pick up next time with the conclusion of the courthouse and possibly even the loading of the boats and getting onto the water. Have a great night, and I'm going to stop the recording now.
Good night.